Great commercial break, by the way. Great conversation. Gentlemen. Let's go Lions. Let's talk about this. We'll get back into Bryce Underwood a little later. So last week, I've never seen a worse NFL game. I've never seen a team quit the way the Jags did, nor have I seen a team more motivated to kill said team than what the Lions did. 7 possessions, 7 scores. We're up 36. F you. We're going to burn your house down. Jared Goff's in the game in the fourth quarter. See, this is a weird game this week. I want your perspective on this. When you play to pack, there's a motivation. We're going to Lambeau. The Houston thing, prime time, big game. Yeah. Hey, we escaped last week. We're coming home. We're playing the Jags. Refocus. This game is a weird one. It's a nondescript road trip. You've been flying really high. You've been playing some great football. You haven't won this many games in a row since like maybe ever. I know the last check was like 1960. TJ, is there any element of this where you have to refocus as a locker room and go, hey, we're on a business trip this week? Like last week, that ain't real. This team is going to play. Like this team is coming for our neck.
Yeah. Refocus, no, because I think this team realizes how good they are, and Dan Campbell and the leaders do such a good job of just making it about themselves rather than focusing on the opponent. Hey, we got to stop this guy. We got to stop that guy. We can't let this guy get going. Hey, circle this guy out.
Yeah.
They don't. They still do that. Don't get me wrong, but I think they make more of an emphasis on, guys, this is about us. The talent that we have, the style of football that we play. If we play our type of game and we don't turn the ball over 5 times and we don't have 12 penalties in a game and we don't do stupid stuff, on third down or in the red zone, it's about us, right? So I think that that's more of the focus for them, and I think that that's warranted. You know what I mean? I think that as long as they continue to take care of their business and lock in like they have over the large part of the last 2 years, no, they're the best team in the NFL when they do that, right? So I think that that's the focus. But you're right, though, and I'll just finish with that. Anytime you play an AFC team, take out Tennessee, take out Jacksonville, because they're the ass of the league. We all know that. But you play a Houston team, and you're not familiar with them. There's a part of familiarity when I play the Packers or the Vikings or we play the Bears. Okay, I know what these guys do. I know the speed, right? I've felt this guy's bull rush before. I know exactly what I'm facing. When you play a team that you only play every 4 years, it takes you a little bit to get going. You know what I mean? Okay, I've never played this guy. He's been in the AFC. Yeah, maybe I played him once 4 years. I don't really remember that muscle memory of what it felt like in these individual matchups. I think that's where it can slow you down a little bit and take you a little bit of while to get going. But I'm with you, man. I think I told you guys a couple weeks ago, maybe it was the morning show on a Monday, but I was just looking, I'm like, don't overlook that Colts game. I mean, they're a tough team. Like, they've had some quarterback issues. Don't get me wrong. Anthony Richardson earlier in the year, we all know what happened when he took himself out of the game. Joe Flacco looked great, and then whatever. Anthony Richardson's coming off his best game as a pro from last week. And this is a tough team that if you let them hang around, they got some talent, man. They do. And I think in the 10 games they played out of 11, one was a blowout. The other 10 games are one-score games. So you look at that, you say, okay, you don't underestimate them, Mike, to answer your question, but at the same time, you realize this is about us, right? As long as we go in there, take care of our business, you can't really use the road excuse anymore with the way that Lions fans travel. No. Like going into hostile territory, which is a testament to those guys.
Is real.
But yeah, I think it's more about, and Dan Campbell says this all the time, we got to improve. We got to find ways to improve ourselves before we even start worrying about who we're playing, the numbers on the names on the back of this is about us. So as long as they take care of that, it should be another fun road trip.
My thing is this: when you look at some of their blowout games, it seems to be a little bit of a hangover in that next game. The Dallas game, that was the most embarrassing game to me because that was personal. And you could see that it was personal.
Yeah, they were trying to embarrass them, which every team in the NFL should try to embarrass.
But then the next week against Minnesota, you fell behind, you battled back, you won. Same, you played Tennessee. Tennessee didn't want to be here. The next week, you beat the Packers, but not necessarily your best game. It was just the Packers kept shooting themselves in the foot. So I just wonder, will it be a little bit of a hangover? Same thing. You go out there, you destroy the Jags. Will it take them a little bit of time to get back to reality and realize, oh, wait, this is a real NFL team and not the people that we just played last week?
I think more so hangover, no, because I think they do such a good job of just turning the page And even after, you're not, trust me, none of those guys are showing up Monday, pumping their chest out saying, we just beat the hell out of the Jags. Like, man, look at us. We're the king. Nobody's doing that. And you even got a sense of it after the game. You're listening to Coach Campbell's speech, and I think Jared Goff said some words, and it's like, hey, boys, we did what we have to do. We're on to the Colts, right? They're able just to focus day by day, week by week. Who cares what happened last week? This is about us. So that's something that I admire about them because that's difficult to do, in my opinion. So I don't think it's if they do get off to a slow start, I wouldn't say as much as a hangover because you just beat the hell out of the Jags as it is we're playing an uncommon opponent. We're playing a desperate team at this point of the year. It's hard to scout for things like that. So if there is a slow start or it does end up being a close game, I don't think you can point at it and look and say, oh, man, they're just riding high from last week. You remember, and sometimes you got to remind yourself like you did the Houston game, we go out there and we play kind of half-assed and, we're just kind of little slot. It can get away from us in a hurry, right? And that's the NFL for you. You don't expect to win every game by, I think they're winning margins like 18 points in all their victories this year. That's insane. It's unheard of. You expect close games. You know that. It turns out to be a close game. You got to adapt, which I think this team has shown they can do. We got to get into a shootout. Let's get into a shootout. Hey, offense is struggling. Defense, we need a bunch of stops. Okay, go shut out Houston in the second half and let us catch up. They've shown they can win all sorts of ways, and I think that's a valuable reason of why they have been the best team in the NFL so far.
I got a critical. We have the TJ Lane critical question, by the way.
Oh, boy.
I have not. No, don't worry. Hermetic. Okay. It's been hermetically sealed. And on the flip side, though, before I ask you that, I do want to ask you about Anzalone. How big of a loss? You lose your green dot. I'm not saying Jack Campbell can't fill the role, but week to week, how jarring is that for a defense? Think about it. We're going to get to that momentarily. That way we got enough time for the TJ critical question.
Oh, that's not the critical question.
No, the critical question's under hermetically sealed conditions, and it's going to pit the two of you against each other. It's going to be very exciting. So we'll get to that momentarily.
It's not about politics, is it?
No. Okay. What the hell is wrong with you? If you purchase your
I know you're divisive, Michael.